Good evening and salutations, my Y&R fans. So, a couple of things from this conversation of Ashley, Abby, and Tuck. No, Ashley, Abby, and Devon. Well, the topic was Tucker, so I wasn't entirely off on that. But, Abby's there talking about, how could you sit there and forgive Tucker for what he did? And I'm like, Abby, you're not in a position to sit there and start really judging anyone, okay? About forgiveness and things of that nature when you practically asked Chance to forgive you for you cheating on him with Devon, when you were ungrateful to Chance, not so much ungrateful, but it's like you knew that he was a cop. You knew that he put his life on the line every day. And you knew that he had responsibilities, and yet you kept sitting there whining and complaining about how he chose the job over choosing you. Though you know exactly he was a cop before, you got married to him. So everything that you did to Chance and then sit there saying, well, one day we could be friends, you're not exactly in a position to sit there and start telling Ashley about not forgiving anything. You're really not. And, Abby's not there saying that Ashley has nothing to be sorry for and it's none of it's her fault or anything like that. Not letting her try to take any accountability for her role in the destruction of her and Tucker's relationship. It's like it's like, okay, maybe that works for you, where it's like you get to sit and be totally blameless and just whatever. But people do like to hold themselves accountable. And one of the things that Ashley said was that, she felt like in some sort of way that she, not so much that she let him on, but the change of heart, you know, and why he got so upset in the first place. And I get that, you know. Tucker thought one way that, she was going to sit there and be like, forget the family, let's just sit there and do our own thing, and then change their mind. And yeah, while people have a right to sit there and change their mind and change their feelings, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt and it doesn't mean that it doesn't suck, right? So she did own that part. And granted, it wasn't the worst thing that she's done in all reality. She chose to sit there and be with her family, but not sit there making it seem like, hey, you don't mean anything to me anymore because I'm with my family. Tucker definitely overreacted, right? Yelling and screaming and doing like it's like he had a temper tantrum like he was a 5-year-old child that didn't get his way. And I'm like, does not seem like something a grown ass adult man would sit there and do. What are you doing with him at that point? Now, they're talking about Tucker as far as Devon, not want to have anything to do with him, talking about the company and stuff like that. And I'm like, Devon, what are you exactly worried about if Tucker is involved in that? You think that he's going to sit there and do something to mess up your company? Why are you so worried about that for? Now, Jabot, the Abbots, whatever, fine. I get that. But your company, I mean, I know that you have a low opinion of Tucker, and granted, he's definitely has not made you change his mind about that, but I don't think he plans on doing anything super terrible and super destructive. Okay, maybe he wants to get rid of Joe to have you own the company and just keep it fully in the family, whatever. But I don't think that's probably the worst thing that he plans on doing. So it's like, I feel like he's kind of overreacting to sit there and justify um, his anger and give more reasons of why he should, why he's not going to give him a chance. Now, after Jack left, Diane was like, don't get too overconfident when it comes towards Tucker, because he's a snake. He's been doing this for a while. He's good at the game, and just stick to the script and don't get overconfident. While they're talking, Summer just walks on in, like what I don't remember exactly what she said, but she was something along the lines of, "Oh, what do you plan on doing? Or what makes you so confident?" Something like that. Like she walked into the conversation, just like, "Bro, what are you doing?" First of all, he kicked you out for a reason, and you just walk on in, and I get, y'all both share a son and stuff like that, but don't walk in on their conversation and start being all nosy when in all reality, just because the maid just let you in, you should probably stop there and knock to say, hey, what's up, before you insert yourself into a conversation that wasn't really your business. So they're talking. Diane, this is where Diane annoys me. I know a lot of people don't like Diane because of all the stuff she did back in the day, and she's Diane, and she can't be trusted, and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. For my time, so I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. But, Kyle has to work from home, and Summer has some questions, some concerns. And so Diane's like, oh, maybe you should sit there and stay here and, just work together. This way y'all can sit there and troubleshoot each other's problems. I'm like, why would you do that for? Why would you just sit there and assist that she just stays there? You don't even ask your son if that's what he wanted, and you just do that because I get you want those two back together, but that wasn't really your play style, you know. And you're making your son hella uncomfortable by meddling like that. I'm like, that was definitely an overstep. And so when he walked out, he left, and on top of that, it hurt her feelings. It hurt Summer's feelings. So it's like, you should have really just kept your damn mouth shut because now you're making yourself feel uncomfortable and you're hurting Summer. They're talking for a little bit, and she talks about how she doesn't trust Audra, which I can get behind that. Um, oh, I want those two back together. Blah 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 blah. And Summer's just like, listen, we're gonna get divorced. I just don't want to make him feel uncomfortable, and things of that nature. But things that Diane is doing isn't really helping that. Now, after Billy's talking to Tucker, talks to Jack and is like, listen, Tucker may have something up his sleeve. They get into this whole poker metaphor, which is actually kind of interesting, about tells and things of that nature. And he's like, long story short, he has something going on. Now, he does bring up Kyle, and Jack, as much as I like Jack, Jack definitely gets defensive, overreacts, doesn't want to sit there and hear anything, and is just like, nope, I don't believe that he'll do that. Okay, you do understand that he's not just some bum off the streets. Okay, that's his nephew. He loves him, but you're not seeing this objectively because he's too close to you, and he's trying to give you some objectivity, but you're just stubborn and you don't want to sit there and hear it, which is, you know, crappy. Um, Kyle tries to get some stuff out of Tucker, but she gets none. It's kind of laughable because Kyle really feels like he's the smartest person in the room, and he's not. When he goes to Tucker, he's like, "So, how could you sit there? And, how are you going to use me to help you take over Jabon?" Tucker's like, "I'll tell you. Don't ask me. I'll tell you. I'm not giving you any information until I'm ready to give you information. That's how that works. You work for me. You don't sit there, pretty much, start demanding, answers. I give you stuff to do, and you do it. That's how that works." So that whole trip was somewhat of a waste of time. I mean, I get he wanted to get out of that awkward situation that dumbass Diane put him in, but kind of a waste. Kind of a waste. And I never really fully understand that sometimes. Like the argument that Tucker had with Ashley, right? This is somebody you're supposed to sit there and love and really adore and admire and want the best for them. And I never, I just in general, I've never understood couples that have such explosive arguments, say the most hurtful things possible, and then you sit there and think, how did you ever sit there and say that you love that person if you can say the most heinous, hurtful things possible, right? Like all in the yelling and the shouting. at her. And granted, while that did look bad because he was a man and she was a woman, let's not sit there and try to act like that was the worst thing that Tucker has done to Ashley, or trying to make it seem like, oh my god, that man is so terrible because he's yelling and raising his voice. Yeah, it's bad. It's not a good look, but I don't know. It's just the way that they try to make it seem. It was like, I feel like that scene could be taken. That can be, I guess, in a lot of ways, kind of blown out of proportion and something close to physical abuse, which I feel is much worse. Don't get me wrong, mental abuse is bad, but the only thing he was releasing that they're doing was yelling and screaming. Um, it's bad, but it's I've seen worse. And yet Ashley still, and that's the thing. Ashley, in some ways, also feels like she's the smartest person in the room. Oh, I'm not going to sit there and fall for Tucker and this, that, and third. And yet she's sitting at the table reminiscing. You can tell that she's going to eventually want to be back with Tucker again. Um, that she's going to sit there and blame herself for that argument. Which in reality, it should have never got to that point. But that's what she's going to do to justify that she still has feelings for him, that she wants to give him another chance. And to the writers decide to break them up because, well, let's just make Tucker look like an idiot. Let's make him a grown ass man that is over 57-year old, throw a temper tantrum like he's a 7-year-old child. Well, this kind of makes you wonder what the hell did you see in her in the first place if he can sit there and explode like that simply because you didn't want to do something that he wanted. I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't really think of anything else, but you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Born and Beautiful, Young and Restless. With that being said, I'm going to go. Also, if you're not a member, make sure you join the membership in the description box below. Exclusive videos that I do only for members, live streams that I do for members, um, and monthly member shoutouts. So you don't want to miss that. Like I said, I did an interview. We'll sit there and say with a soap actor, and it was probably the most intense, interesting, funny, and insightful conversation that I think I've ever had. You don't want to miss that one, especially if you're a tea person. Just put it that way. With that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.